Hello everyone, I'm Jerry D'Ambrosio, and welcome to this week's special presentation, The Anatomy of a Swing Trade. There are three types of trading styles. There's day trading, where you close the position by the end of the session. You open it either in the morning, maybe early afternoon, but you close that position by the end of the session. Then there's swing trading, where you hold the position for a few days, maybe a few weeks. And then there's position trading or investing, where you hold a position for a few months, maybe a few years. And since your holding period for swing trades isn't very long, precise entries and exits are crucial. In swing trading, there's a few terms that I want to cover first. There's what's called the setup. The setup is a condition or conditions that let you know to get ready to enter a trade. There's the trigger. Those are the conditions that tell you to enter the trade. And then there's order execution, actually buying or shorting the stock. And I know there are dozens of indicators out there. There's stochastics, there's MACD, there's using moving averages. What I want to teach you here today is how to use support and resistance in your trading. So before we get too deep, let's talk about what support is, or what a support level is. Basically, support is a point where stock prices have stopped going down and they begin to go back up, typically on multiple occasions. It's where demand is deemed strong enough to push the price higher to support it from falling any further. Resistance is a point where stock prices have stopped going up and they begin to come back down, typically multiple times. It's where supply is deemed strong enough to push the price lower to resist it from rising any further. And think about it this way. Have you ever bought a stock, here we're looking at AutoZone, and you just watched it go up, but you didn't sell it because you thought it was going to continue to go up? Then what happens? It comes back down. What do you say to yourself? Well, you say, well, if it ever gets back up there again, I'm going to sell it. And once the stock price reaches that level again, all the people who bought it back here and didn't sell it the first time, now they sell it. What does that do? That puts downward pressure on the stock's price, and typically it will begin to fall. So how do you use support and resistance in your trading? So all I did here was I clicked on Add Parameter, go to Technical Analysis, and I selected support and resistance, and I kept the default settings the same. If I right-click and go to Change Settings, here are the default settings that I'm using. So first let's talk about the buying opportunities. Buying opportunity number one is if you see price hitting support and bouncing off of it. That's bullish. When we saw price here just recently hit that support level of $1,077.87 on both June 26th and June 27th, that was our setup. Those were the conditions telling us to get ready to enter the trade when price hit support. The trigger was on June 28th when price retraced from that support level. Okay? So price retracing from support, that's a buying opportunity. The other buying opportunity is when price breaks out through resistance, especially on higher volume. We already said that there was built-in selling pressure around that resistance level based on the crowd mentality, right? Well, if a stock is able to overcome that selling pressure and bust through that resistance level, that's very bullish, and that would indicate a buying opportunity. So price hitting resistance, there's your setup. That's telling you to get ready to enter the trade. And then price breaking out through resistance, that's your trigger. That's letting you know to go ahead and enter the trade. Second, you can also use support and resistance to indicate when to initiate a short position or to sell an existing long position. Let me pull this out a little further. Let's look back here at the end of last year. First off, if you see price breaking down through support and moving lower, that's bearish. All right, and typically price will continue to fall until it reaches the next support level. So if it's a long trade that you're in and you see price breaking down through support, that's an indication to either exit that long position or take other defensive actions. If it's a position that you'd like to initiate short, here's what you look for. You see price nearing and then hitting support, there's your setup. Okay, there's your setup. That's telling you to get ready to enter the short position. The trigger is if and only if price breaks down through support. That's your trigger. That's telling you to enter that short position. And additionally, if you see price hitting resistance and then retracing from that resistance level, that's also bearish, and that is an indication to sell an existing long position or to take on a short position. Let's look at another stock, WEC. Let's pull it all the way back. So back here in March, April 2019, the stock price fell. It approached this $75.68 support zone, touched it on 422, which was your setup, and then retraced from it on 423, which was your trigger. In a moment, I'm going to end with actual order execution. So there was your bullish retracement off of support. The stock price on May 14th and May 15th actually settled into this $79.76 resistance zone. But did it ever retrace from it? It did not. It actually broke out through it. So as price breaks out through resistance, that's also bullish, and that allows you to stay in the long trade. Remember, if you enter into the trade off of a support retracement, you should look to exit the trade off of a resistance retracement. But we never got that resistance retracement. We got the breakout through resistance. Stock rises to a level of 83.01 on May 24th and then comes back down to retest what's now support. It was resistance back here, but once price breaks through that resistance level, that level becomes support. What happened? Price fell for the next 3 days, came back down to retest that zone. So what are we thinking if we're still long? We're thinking, okay, I weathered this storm here, where price kind of settled into resistance a little bit, never retraced from it, eventually broke out through it. Well, what do we know about what to do with a long position if you see price breaking down through support? I said that was an indication to either take defensive actions or to outright sell and exit that long trade. What happened? Price reached that support level and then retraced from it. Okay? Now look, there potentially could be other opportunities to sell the position. I'm strictly focusing on how to use support and resistance to enter and then manage your trade. So if I zoom all the way out, there was your support retracement. And now what's happening? Price reached a level of 85.70 a few days ago, pulled back off of that level, came back up, and on Wednesday, on an intraday basis, basically got into that zone. This is now resistance. What do we see today? We see a clear resistance retracement. We'll take a look at one more chart. Now, let's finish with actual order execution. I've gone through the two bullish situations that you'll see and the two bearish situations that you'll see using support and resistance. And one of the great things about the VectorVest graphing tool is it automatically draws those support and resistance lines for you. Now, you don't have to look at chart after chart after chart trying to find stocks whose price, let's say as of the close of Wednesday, is retracing from support. You don't have to look at chart after chart to do that. I'm going to enter us into the Unisearch tool. And within the real-time program and an add-on module to either VectorVest End of Day or VectorVest Intraday, we have a tool called ProTrader. This is a technical analysis scanning tool. If you don't have ProTrader, we've included a link in the views tonight so that you could take out a 30-day free trial. If you already have real-time, you know that ProTrader comes included. So if I open up the ProTrader folder and scroll down here, we have searches that find stocks either retracing from support if you're bullish, or retracing from resistance if you're bearish, and also breaking support and breaking resistance as well. So as of the close of Wednesday, let me go to the home page, and as of the close of Wednesday, we had 2 green lights in the color guard, one in the price column, one in the buy to sell ratio column. So as of Wednesday's close, our market bias was bullish. So what I would do is I would go into the Unisearch tool. Let me take the date back to July 3rd, 2019. And I'm going to run this search because we're bullish on the market, right? Because the market's rising, we're going to look to go long. I'm going to run this search called retracing support by 2%. However, I'm going to change that to retracing support by 1%. Basically what's happening is the stock's price has come down, has hit support, and has retraced from it by 1%. I'm going to select OK, and I'm going to go ahead and run that search as of July 3rd of 2019, just this past Wednesday. And just like that, this scan found every stock in the database above $5 with an average volume greater than 250,000 shares, no pink sheets, no contra ETFs. All of these stocks, as of the close of July 3rd, have retraced support by at least 1%. So let's look at the graphs. Here's BRZU. Now this is an ETF. This is a Brazilian ETF. And there is our support retracement. This was July 3rd. Here is that support level, $32.88. So on July 3rd, we retraced from that support level by at least 1%. Now, this is a Brazilian ETF with a lot of gapping action. In fact, it actually gapped up today and has just started to pull back a little bit off of the session high so far. If you look at this ETF and you say, well, there's too much gapping here, I wouldn't blame you from moving on. Maybe trying to find a stock or an equity that is just retraced from support. So if I move on to the next one, here's Sonic Auto. Here's our July 3rd date. And there is your support retracement, $22.85. If I move on to the next one, here's Whirlpool. Now this one's a little different. What recently just happened was price broke out through this 143.64 resistance zone, right? Resistance, resistance, resistance. Yet again, another resistance touch and retracement. We saw that a few times here in the past couple of months. Well, just recently the stock price broke out above that resistance level. Remember, what happens then? That resistance zone to become support. What happened on July 3rd? The stock price broke out through resistance and then came back down to retest it. The setup was July 2nd when price touched support. The trigger was the following day on July 3rd when it retraced from support. Now let's talk about order entry. Because just because you get a support retracement doesn't mean that you should buy the stock the next day no matter what. Well, today is that next day. And is the stock price rising today? It's not. It's actually falling today. Here's another one, IPHI. It was resistance back here. The stock price on July 1st broke out through resistance, came back down to retest it. July 2nd was your setup. July 3rd was your trigger, telling you to go ahead and enter the trade. But you need follow through. If we want to be as precise as possible with entries we have to make sure that we're waiting for confirmation. And it doesn't look like many of these stocks are confirming. However, here's Anthem. Anthem on July 3rd, which again was the Wednesday, the day we ran the search, retraced from this $279.77 support zone. You could see it did so on July 3rd. It's actually following through today. It's actually following through today. Now let me say this before I go ahead with placing the order, showing you the steps that are required to actually enter this trade. If I go back to the home page, we can see that all the major indices are lower. The VVC is down 30 cents. We have a red light in the buy to sell ratio column. We don't have today market follow through. So I wouldn't actually go ahead and place this trade today. If the market was rising today, fantastic, I would. Going back to the chart, I got my support retracement on July 3rd, which was Wednesday, and I have my follow through today. My setup on July 2nd, when price hit support, my trigger on July 3rd, when price retraced from support, and then my follow through today as price is moving higher. That's my cue to actually enter the order. So if I were to do that, I'm going to click on Trade Now, and I'm going to select Interactive Brokers Paper. Okay, this is just a paper account I have set up, so I can just fill out the order ticket. My action is to buy. You type in number of shares to buy. Here are the current bid, ask, and last prices. The order type is market. I'm going to change it from a market order to a stop limit order. Even though the stock is higher today, I want it to come to me. I want it to rise a little bit more from the current price so that the stock is coming to me and I'm not chasing it, and I'm buying it as it's rising in price. So to do that, I'm going to use a stop limit order. I'm going to change the stop price to $286.40. It's a little bit above the ask. Okay, so if the stock price reaches $286.40, it will trigger my order. And the limit I'm going to set to $286.83. That's the limit. I don't want to pay any more than that. So I want to buy the stock anywhere between $286.40 and $286.83. I'll click on Preview Orders. Gives me my total estimated commission, my total estimated cost, and I'd go ahead and click on Place Orders. It sends to the broker, and then it lets me know that the order has been successfully submitted. And there you have it, folks. There's the anatomy of a swing trade. You have your setup. This occurred on July 2nd. That told me to get ready to enter the trade when price hit support. I had my trigger on the following day, Wednesday, July 3rd, when price retraced from support. And then follow through today is what causes me to actually place the trade. Now, folks, I know that was just a small taste of what it takes to become a successful swing trader. I showed you how to use support and resistance in your trading. Well, I'm really excited to announce a brand new course that we have called Swing Trading with the Amazing Midas Touch Technique. And my two favorite words on your screen right now are live stream. You don't have to get in a car, you don't have to get into an airport. You can join us from the comfort of your home or office. And VectorVest has teamed up with Dr. David Paul, a world-renowned trader from London. He's making the trip from the UK to deliver this no-nonsense course that gets right to the point, giving you the knowledge and tools you need to manage a successful swing trading portfolio in just minutes per day. And this workshop focuses on swing trading using the Midas Touch technique. Here's our agenda. We'll start at 10 a.m. It's going to be on July 12th, next Friday, and we begin with market timing. No matter what we teach you here at VectorVest, we want to make sure that you're understanding what the market's doing so that you can implement strategies that are consistent with that behavior. And then we spend the rest of the day talking about swing trading techniques using the Midas Touch system. And the early bird rate for this course is still available. It's only $495, and you can go to www.vectorvest.com/MidasTouch to sign up. As a bonus to all of those registered for the Midas Touch workshop will receive this trading system. This is a systematic, rules-driven, automated trading system that centers around buying and selling Midas Touch stocks. This portfolio since January of 2016 is up 137%, while the overall market is only up 45%. Also, as a bonus, everyone will receive 60 days access to VectorVest Real-Time, and we'll also throw in the Profit Locker Pro as well. Now, this is, of course, if you don't already have it. And another bonus is we're going to offer a coaching session. This is going to be about a month after the course, and we will help you implement what you learned in the course, and we'll look at what you're doing and guide you. Again, go to vectorvest.com/MidasTouch to register. I hope you folks enjoyed tonight's special presentation, and I look forward to working with you next week at this brand new live stream workshop. Have a great evening, everybody.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Now, if you're new to the software or would like refresher information about the software, click on this Getting Started video right here. Thanks to all of your input, here's a YouTube video that we think would be perfect for you. Click right here. If nothing else, folks, just hit the subscribe button right here.